right now. I'm enjoying this too much. RC, we haven't started yet. I can't. No, don't do that to me. I haven't even got. We're just gonna look. We're just gonna look. My plan right now is to maybe play Cyberpunk 2077 when the PlayStation 5 version comes out, which as of right now, I thought it was going to be a couple months, but I guess they don't even have a release date. And since the PS4 and Xbox launches, and PC for that matter, have all gone so horribly, they kind of said, they did an interview the other day where they basically said, yeah, it was supposed to come out in 2021, but it might not. When talking about the next-gen releases. I have a feeling next-gen releases are going to be the actual release date for this game. No, PS5 version's not out. They have always advertised, well, ever since they decided to back it up, they have always advertised that you were getting the Xbox One version and the Xbox, and the PS4 versions. You can play them on next gen because they're both backwards compatible. PlayStation 4 is giving refunds because it's so fucked. I've seen people who play games on PC being like, well, what do you expect? It's 7-year-old technology. They can't make that good. And it's like, I know this fucking loser is not talking about the system that plays God of War, The Last of Us 2, Horizon Zero Dawn, Uncharted. I know this is Death Stranding. I know this is not, they're not talking about the system that runs all those games, which look great just fine. I know that's not what they're talking about. They can't be that dumb. Plus their gaming rig is fucking mounted to their wall and it's water cooled by G Fuel. Like, we're not tolerating that right now. How you doing, Danica? Good to see you. All right. Anyway, I thought it'd be fun if we took a look at the Cyberpunk 2077 Reddit. Because I thought it was really weird on my circle of Twitter, right? I genuinely, with all the bugs and with all the problems and everything, I genuinely expected some diversity. I genuinely expected some diversity in the sense that some people would be like, yeah, having this many bugs at a launch title for the game this anticipated by a company so well respected is really awful, and the game should absolutely be docked points for it. But it's almost everyone saying, it's almost everyone like just defending it to hell and back. And while that's not a bad thing, right? I'm a little bit upset because there are plenty of other games that should have been given the same chance and never were. For example, I firmly believe that if everyone had given, let's just say, for example, Death Stranding, half the chance that they gave Cyberpunk 2077, Death Stranding probably would have gone down as one of, if not the greatest games of all time, to the masses. I'm starting to believe that. But anyway, let's just take a look. Let's see what the Reddit has to, because I feel like my Twitter is just like weirdly overly positive. Normally in a case, unless it's Pokemon, right? Unless it's Pokemon or something Nintendo related, normally you see something like The Last of Us 2 release, or we can go back a little bit further to Mass Effect Andromeda, or when No Man's Sky launched initially, right? Normally in cases like that, Twitter tears it apart. But for some reason, maybe it's like the Nintendo effect, right? Or something. But for some reason, I want to say because it's CD Projekt Red and because they were so excited for this game no matter what, it's just not catching that wave. And again, I don't know. We'll get to it. All right, this video is titled
living below the poverty line than anywhere else.
A Day in the Life of the PS4. I think I've seen this already on Twitter. This looks like a backdrop in PS2 games. I guess there we go. This looks like the backdrop in like the PlayStation 2 GTA games, like what would be way off in the distance. In 64, once it's exactly, yeah, stuff like that.
And more people living below the poverty line than anywhere else.
Game currently has like a 2.4 user score on Metacritic for PlayStation 4, by the way. I'm pretty sure this is an edit because it says Squidward on or off. If they actually included that, I understand why people defend this game. If that's actually like an option included, I haven't done the character customization myself. If that's actually there, I take back everything negative that I may have implied about this game. When you have fun playing, alright, so we're in for a ride. That's what this done. Everybody's talking about the performance issues, bugs, or whatever, but deep down, I think they're ignoring the real issues of this game. Why the fuck does V sleep sideways on his bed? He has a really comfy and cozy looking bed. He just goes in sideways without using any of the soft looking pillows. A fair complaint. Okay, someone's complaining about the manhole covers. I think there's a lot of like fucking joke complaints in here because there's a lot of real complaints that actually bother me so much. I think the gaming, I might try to find the image later, but somebody drew an image of how V would have to sleep, and it's fucking hilarious. Game is unfinished, a total disaster with graphics and texture. All right, this is extremely upvoted. Sorry, folks, I was hyped for this game. It's clear that after 4 hours of playing, it's still a work site. Horrible optimization. I'm playing on PS4. Some textures start loading after 2 to 3 full seconds after you see them. See a huge box a few seconds later, and then it becomes a car. I'm too disappointed to go through. Doesn't even compare to Witcher 3. See, I told y'all. Told y'all people were going to compare this shit to Witcher 3. Gaming's like another year of dead time. I don't want to read this. I want funny videos, man. Like, we knew all this. We knew it needed another fucking 6 months to a year. We knew it would look like fucking garbage. I'm really loving the parkour potential of Night City. Okay, wait. This might be cool. Reminder, this game was supposed to have wall running, and they decided to cut that feature. If this could have been, like, Mirror's Edgy? Like Mirror's Edge Catalyst or something? That would have been tight. Now I'm just upset they took away wall running. That exclamation point Pokemon League is outdated. Do not use that. If someone who understands the rules could just explain it to them, that would be infinitely better. I don't even have a list of all of our gym leaders. I have to go back and look at the bracket. I don't remember the order of Elite Four or nothing. But I haven't updated the pace bin yet. Parkour is super cool. Well, once they removed wall running and after I saw how the gameplay looked, I honestly didn't think that would be like in the equation at all. I was excited for the parkour potential when I saw the title of this video, but he's been running upstairs for a minute straight, and I don't think him and I have the same definition of parkour. How did this get upvoted? This has got to be a joke. Alright, people on this subreddit are weird. I just had to watch someone run upstairs for a minute straight to watch him jump onto a building, which you can do in literally every game ever made. I saw it, the fucking... All that so we could see the smoke texture popping right here. Boink, there it is. Hold up. Please jump off the building. Give this the ending fit for a king. Please jump off the building. Thank you, Drac. People are on Reddit are weird, period. Yeah, it's the truth. That video sucked. I can't play Cyberpunk 2077 as a disabled person. Like many gamers that post on the CD Projekt Red forums, the accessibility software, like AutoHotkey, XPad, JoyToKey, etc., is apparently being blocked in Cyberpunk 2077. It seems like a virtual emulated key input is ignored beyond the game. Any disabled gamers not able to play this because you were affected, please show support. That is shitty. You receive a direct message saying you've been permanently banned from our CD Cyberpunk game. You most likely weren't banned, and the body message just contains spoilers for the entire game of CD 2077. Don't read past the subject line. I'm not a Redditor. I don't have an account. The woman who raised concerns about epilepsy in 2077 is being sent purposely seizure-inducing videos. These are from people who were ready to defend the game before it released. Gamers are weird. Super turbo CD Projekt Red fans who are way too into it are typically weird. I warned people of this before the game came out. But the initial, and it probably also has a lot to do because she was a woman. You're going to see extra hate on the internet in the fucking gamer realm just because of that. Same thing happened to the reviewer at GameSpot who gave it a 7 out of 10. We'll get to that later. the woman who pointed out the fact that, hey, everybody, epileptic warning. Because in case you guys didn't hear the controversy on that, it was not even controversy. In case you guys didn't hear what happened on that, when Cyberpunk 2077 released, it had, there's a scene where your character puts a helmet on or something, and the flashing lights that happen actually almost perfectly replicate the same pattern of flashing lights that doctors use. Almost perfectly replicate the same pattern of flashing lights that doctors use in order to trigger epileptic seizures in epileptic patients, so that way they can get like a reading on them and stuff like that. They can study them in the hospital. So the video game legitimately has a section that is designed to give people with epilepsy epileptic seizures. And the woman went and pointed this out, be like, hey, this game's not for people with epilepsy, because for some reason it purposely tries to trigger epileptic seizures in people without telling anybody. That's really fucked up. And turbo fans of the game started harassing the fuck out of this woman because she tried to make the game that they wanted to like look bad. Which wasn't her goal. She was trying to raise awareness, but she tried to make, in their stupid gamer minds, the game that they wanted to like, that they didn't know if they liked or not because it wasn't out yet. She tried to make that game look bad. So they legitimately, at this point, it's got to be like assault. But that was 5 days ago. That was legitimately some shit that was happening. Literally unplayable. This is a regular shadow texture for a regular human being and how regular human beings move. How regular human beings run. I don't particularly see an issue. This is how I run in and out of Walmart to avoid the people not wearing masks. And my arms definitely look like that. Completed list of missing features, quality of life, and immersion. Okay, so you guys who play the game, particularly on PC, I guess, are probably going to know about this. We can check to see if this is true or not. I like the game, the story missions, the art, the animation, everything's fantastic, but the RPG is not. From the perspective of someone who loves playing role-playing games and feels handicapped at the moment, I'm leaving bugs and glitches out. This list is in no particular order. This obviously gained more traction I imagine. I will no longer add to it. Keep note, I added many suggestions from other Redditors to my initial list. Thank you for the awards, for free, yada yada. Quality of life. Walk toggle for keyboard, remapping certain elements, accessibility features. In-game benchmark feature, I don't even know what that means. Dash should be a separate key and not a double press. Don't be a bitch. Crouch and skip dialogue should not share the same key. That's fair. Minimap is too zoomed in to be helpful in most cases. Missing a toggle aim feature. All right, this is PC people complaining about PC features that they normally get. This guy's just being weird. Naruto the Super Sage is against Twitch TOS. You can't do that anymore. It's against Twitch TOS. If a staffer sees you doing that, you're going to get your account permanently banned. Ability to disable the objective marker. Okay, that would annoy the fuck out of me. Lower the aim down sight sensitivity. Oh, that does suck. Yeah, not being able to control that. Proper ultra-wide support is PC nerd whining. A lot of this is PC nerd whining. Add loot by area and or auto loot feature. It's whining. Stash all. Transparent. Look, if Fallout has it, you probably ought to have it, though. To remove mods from unequipped weapons, toggle mouse acceleration, driving markers, and on-screen trajectory alternative for GPS. Like, kind of like they do with Watch Dogs, where, like, points you out where to go. Body slider customization, gameplay, and immersion. Very few options for some of the character creation features. I've heard that complaint from a lot of people. Everyone expected they'd be making their character for like 45 minutes, but then it didn't take them that long. Unable to remove underwear outside of inventory. Weird one. Vehicle customization, apartment customization, cosmetic slots, very few actual merchant stores, quality and variety, no garages or parking lots. Crowds have a low level to react. Okay, we're going to see videos on this later, but the AI, from everything I've seen, the streams I've watched, and the clips I've seen, the AI apparently is the stupidest, most least reactive, unrealistic AI that's ever lived. Black Desert Online ruined character creation for everyone. I think the Soulsborne games are really in depth with it. Monster Hunter World was pretty solid. I could think. The WWE 2K creations. The options there are just nuts. There's a few games that have insanely in-depth. I don't know. To everyone who keeps saying the bugs are funny, I like the bugs. I think at that point you kind of got to pick. Is the game good or is the game so bad it's good? Because there's a huge difference between those two. But I refuse to land on the aspect that it's both, because the game is either bad because it has all these fuck ups, or the game is so bad it's good because you still enjoy the fuck ups. Player cannot smoke. All right, this person's just a PC whiner. I'm not. Turn off chromatic aberration, film grain, and motion blur. Hello, Lord Angerman. Thank you for 37 motherfucking months. It's good to see you.
Hey Thunder, it's been a while.
There's a difference between a game full of bugs and a Fallout level buggy game. But from what I understand, this is definitely a Fallout level buggy game. At minimum. I realize that there's no AI for driving at all, period. That's the reason cops spawn right behind you instead of tracking you down like GTA. That's the reason you've never been in a car chase in the open world, not in a mission. That's the reason the AI stops behind you forever when you park a car in the middle of the road. That's the reason people don't peel away in a panic when you pull a gun on them in a car. The only driving AI that this game has is predetermined paths for cars to follow along. Holy fuck. They also don't know how to react to gunshots and fights. They run a couple of meters and then cower there. I had to shoot some guys in a bar for a side quest, and an NPC blocked my way to the objective because he was cowering in the door. I tried to shoot next to him, but he never reacted to it. I had to reload an older save to progress. The bartender never even cared and just stood in his place while I shot 3 people next to him. My buddy Frico, the guy who made Pokemon Bronze 2, the guy who we did some of his Dreams creations. He did the Last of Us remake. He's working on a Grand Theft Auto Dream. He's been working on it for like a couple months now. He has AI that reacts in his Dreams creation. He's got videos of it. Better than what I've seen in videos, what I've seen in streams, and what was just described here. Oh, you guys can't see the top. I fucked up. You guys are reading the top comment. Resize this. But yeah, Frico in Dreams, the PlayStation 4 game Dreams has programmed better AI than what currently exists in Cyberpunk 2077, a game released by CD Projekt Red, the people who made The Witcher 3. They were the first subreddit to reach 500,000 members for a game that wasn't released yet. Man, they did not know the letdown that was coming their way. That was cool, but it bugged out my Reddit. You guys see this? You guys see this vibrating? The bugs in the game are so bad they've expanded through video form via the internet. Okay, we're good. Anyway. No one else not having... Alright, this fucking... I like the game anyway. Terrific fucking take, man. Cyberpunk hotfix is now live on PlayStation consoles. I think I just witnessed a murder. Hold on. I don't understand you people. Uh-oh. We got gamer terms getting thrown around here. Seen most people act like Cyberpunk will be a gift from God, but now everyone hates it for some reason. I guess the exact reason. Hey, Omega, thank you for the raid, man. It patched absolutely nothing. It patched a lot of bugs. The whole list said it was patching bugs. We're currently going through the Cyberpunk Reddit, see what they think about it. However, don't go anywhere because we're about to start our official Pokemon League. In case you guys don't know, I was watching my favorite streamer, Omega Pro, one day stream Pokemon League battles, and I got an idea of my own. Thank you, King. Represent. We actually have our own Pokemon League. We're about to start up again. We have 8 gym leaders. We have 4 Elite Four members. And we have the wonderful viewers who are allowed to take them on. Who are allowed to take them on in battle. And basically, you spend $5 or you use channel points and you're allowed to run the gauntlet. And when you run the gauntlet, it means you're allowed to take on our 8 gym leaders. And if you beat them all, then you're allowed to take on our Elite Four members. And if you beat them, then you're allowed to take on our champion, King of Sins. You may recognize him. But if you lose, you're done. You're kicked out. You have to re-enter to take the gauntlet on again. Our gym leaders, our Elite Four members, all have monotype teams, just like gym leaders and Elite Four members in the actual Pokemon world, in the actual Pokemon games. They'll all have monotypes. They'll be water type, they'll be fighting type, they'll be ground type, whatever, right? So you'll have an advantage on every specific gym leader because they'll be limited to a monotype style team. But yeah, that's what's going on. As soon as we finish scrolling through, just seeing what the people think. Yo, Flame Orion, tier 3. Good night, man. Enjoy the toasty gasm emote, by the way. And in a league with bits? Yes. So it is being subscribed is like the first and foremost. And then it's either 50,000 channel points, which is in the redemption thing there, or it's $5 to the stream in any way. It can be 500 bits. It can be 1 gift sub. It can be a $5 dono. But yeah, just let me know when you do it that you're entering the league, and I'll put your name down on my notepad. Who needs a trauma team when I have this? I see he shot that guy in the head. I see the person who was in the wheelchair is... Anyway, this is a AAA game that released. Review Mega Thread. Someone in GameSpot. Oh yeah, we never talked about the girl who gave it a 7 out of 10. There was a woman. I think it's worth it to announce she was a woman because I genuinely believe that contributed to a lot of the hate she got. There was a woman at GameSpot before the game came out who gave Cyberpunk 2077 a 7 out of 10 score, citing a lot of bugs and issues and AI and things like that. A lot of things that now that the game is out, people have realized are genuinely very wrong with the game. But because she gave a low rating to a game that gamers thought they should like, even though it wasn't out yet, they had no way of knowing. She got a lot of like harassment and death threats and shit. And then the game came out. After she got harassment and death threats and shit for her 7 out of 10, the game came out. The current user score for the game is like 2.4. The current user score on Metacritic for PlayStation specifically is like 2.4 out of 10. I don't know, whatever. Just because CD Projekt didn't delay the game again doesn't mean that you can't. After reading about... Oh, this ought to be fucking good. After reading about all the disappointment with the performance of Cyberpunk 2077 today and talk of how it should have been delayed a year, just remember that there's nothing preventing you from delaying the game for yourself. Sure, the technical release was today, but that doesn't have to be for you. Just set it in your mind that it's not coming out for another year or when it's ready, and you can eventually have the game you thought it would be. Now you are in control of when the game is ready. Okay, 2 things. Number 1, I'm already doing this because I'm waiting for the PlayStation 5 release. Number 2, fuck this dude. He's a piece of shit. I have never seen anybody cap for a game this hard. This is extreme defense of a game company in disguise. This is absolutely not somebody trying to, like, make everybody else's experience better, and this is absolutely somebody like, you could just, there's something you can control about this dumbass, stupid-ass, bug-infested release. Fuck that dude. Your body's only a body, you can modify it and replace it with Chrome, get a new one altogether. Your haircut, though, can you not change your haircut? That is a Hall of Fame cap arm. Yeah, that's fucking... That might have been a CD Projekt Red employee on another account. Quick PSA for PC players. A second ago, NVIDIA released a new drivers update. If you want the best experience with Cyberpunk, go to NVIDIA GeForce and Experience and check for updates. Go to the NVIDIA webpage and download new drivers. Okay, there's something genuine. Find the Reddit thread if y'all want that. PC players, if you don't have the latest drivers, upgrade to that. It might help. That fucking... Hey, yo, Flame, thank you. I'll get your name on my list. Feel free to ask a gym leader if you have your team up. Flame Orion, we do Gen 7. No Ultra Beast, no Z moves. That's our rule set. Make your team, it's Gen 7. No Ultra Beast, no Z moves. Whenever you're ready, ask a gym leader. Or just ask in chat, are there any gym leaders open? One of them should probably pop in and say, yeah, I'm good. You guys will challenge each other on Showdown. Don't spoil it, and as soon as it's done, just send me the replay. As soon as it's done, don't put it in chat. DM me the replay on Discord if you can. If you have access to me from any Discord anywhere, or if you want to get into the sub Discord, let me know. Someone in chat will send you. But yeah, DM me the link via Discord. I have a 280 Ti, and I hate that it looks bad on a 4K PC. Makes me glad I didn't get it. How do you know it looks bad if you didn't get it? Are you watching it somewhere else, Big O? Or did you watch it on something else? I know Yagami had a 260 Ti, and he was having a lot of issues till he found out which settings he needed to turn off. I probably could be playing it right now. I absolutely could be playing it in as high a quality or maybe even higher than I would be able to play it on my PS5 when the PS5 release comes out. I have a 3080. I just got this new computer in not that long ago. But man, I don't feel like fighting the game to play the game. I don't feel like fighting through the game to play the game right now. I would rather just, when they're ready to give me the streamlined version that it's supposed to be, like that's what I'll play if the hype is still there for it. PS5 should probably be a very good benchmark for when everything will be ironed out. Is this supposed to be fucking Keanu? Is this Keanu without the right textures loaded in, or is this like a cutscene where he did a bunch of meth? What is this? Gym leaders are ducking right now. Spader's open. I think Andrew said his gym was open. He might be in a battle right now. Wake the fuck up, Samurai. We've got rocks to burn. The way that Cyberpunk 2077 development reviews have been halted signals that the mainstream gaming media needs to change their approach to reviewing games, and game development needs to change. I'm beyond hype for Cyberpunk. It's preloaded from GOG, just teasing me with that play button that works. Regardless, if you're a diehard fan or not, the way the reviews have been handled by the media is misguided. The way CD Projekt Red has been handled is downright deceitful. PC reviewers were not allowed to use their own footage. Tom's Hardware was asked to have their benchmarks removed due to poorly implemented DRM. No console copies were sent out for review. Fucking now we know why. Good God. This is from 4 days ago. No console copies were sent out for review. That should have been a fucking tip-off right there. That should have been a huge red flag. Latest trailer got published yesterday. The trailer published 2 weeks ago, and even trailers from 5 months ago, they all ended with the same thing. Pre-order the game. They're actively marketing and asking you to pre-order regardless of day 1, 2, 3 patches. They're asking you to pre-order something that comes as a physical item for most people getting it. When Cyberpunk 2077 went gold, they should have had a game in a state that would be sent out to reviewers instead of some leaked footage. And by leaked footage, I mean that's gameplay footage of the data that shipped with the physical copy for Xbox and uploaded before release day. So if someone lives out in the sticks with barely any good internet, doesn't have reliable access to internet, that's the game they have. Okay. I was against this. I was with this person's mentality for a very long time. But as shitty as it is, we have absolutely evolved beyond the point where not having internet ever is not going to get you the best gaming experience. It's not like ideal, but it's 2020. That's absolutely how it is. If you do not have access, I get that a 100 gig update, if you have shitty internet, might take like 3 days. But if you are at a point or a situation where you never have access to internet, I don't know how you have access to the game system in the first place. I would rather it not be that way. I would love if games just came, fully patched and ready to go from release. But that's just not how it is. I don't agree with this thing. Are you asking me if I'm going to play Miles? Yes, I want to play Miles soon because I'm actually, now that we've got all the community stuff set up, I'm actually really itching to play a game again. I've obviously got to keep a lid on TNT and the Pokemon League and check in with the Minecraft server every now and again. But I am eager to get back to playing games myself again. So I want to finish Miles, and then I think it'll be about time to start God of War. I got to finish Miles first, then I think it'll be about time to start God of War. But I'm really glad we got the community stuff in motion, but I am just dying to play a game again. myself. Other than the Pokemon MMO. We've done Pokemon MMO and TCG a bit. We can see that the game was not ready to ship at all, period. Everything else I agree with that he said so far, but that particular line of not having internet, like, you gotta have internet at this point. Is a 100 gigabyte day one patch ridiculous? Absolutely. Like, that's an extreme. Cyberpunk really pushed that over the edge, and I hope it doesn't become the new standard, but because CD Projekt Red did it, it probably will be. But yeah, 100 day 1 gig patch is ridiculous. That's some COD shit right there. But everything else he said so far, I agree with. Things need to change. This is one of the most hyped games I've ever seen, but I feel so many people on PS4 and Xbox One are just being lied to and set up for disappointment. This guy was predicting the future. Fucking Nostradamus have an ass. Some probably will be disappointed that they will be in disbelief and think something else is wrong. Things need to change, even if it's an industry-wide gentleman's agreement. Reviews should be made from the gold standard. Publishers should get the review copy a month before release. Every launch platform should have review copies distributed. In addition to that, gaming media should not publish a review of the game if they had not had adequate time to review and give it a score. Reviews should take into account patches. Reviews should not take into account patches coming into the future. That's an interesting conversation. Uber, are you getting put on the list? I'm entering. All right, hell yeah. I got to put Flame Orion and Uber down. I haven't opened up my list yet. The thing I don't like is when you're just playing the game normally and it bugs out multiple times and people say that you're just looking for bugs. There are definitely games where people look for bugs for. Fallout's an easy one to look for bugs for, but Fallout's also a game where a lot of bugs come to you, and I feel like Cyberpunk's the same way. I saw a video of someone who they went off a ramp and they ended up in the water, and then in the water, underneath the water, there was just a cat like sitting on the ground licking itself like nothing was going on. The worst part is early reviewers weren't allowed to show their own gameplay and reviews. They knew it was a pile of shit. They knew it was a pile of shit. That rubs me there. Omega, I know you've liked the game so far, but picture with me a world where everybody gives any game half a chance that the population has given Cyberpunk 2077. Half a chance. The amount of people, on Twitter, it's insane. The huge slew of numbers of people who are like, who have said, the bugs are ridiculous. I run into them constantly. My game has crashed multiple times. I've had to reload saves on more than one occasion because I could not progress in my game any further due to bugs. But the game's still pretty good. The game's still okay, or I still like the game a lot. The amount of people who would not have even thought to attempt to get close to going through half of that shit for any other game is insane. I'm under the impression that if CD Projekt Red had released Mass Effect Andromeda, Mass Effect Andromeda would be getting defended the same way. I'm under the impression that if CD Projekt Red had released Mass Effect Andromeda, instead of everybody hopping on the clown train because most people weren't going to buy Mass Effect Andromeda anyway, instead of everyone just hopping on the clown train and just making fun of it on Twitter all day and having a great time because the game was a buggy mess that looked like shit, instead of that, people would be doing exactly what they are with this right now. People shit on Andromeda when this game is unironically worse. That's what I'm saying. That's what I don't understand. Like, Omega will agree with me on this. And again, I'm kind of on the fence of like, I'm very, very happy I'm a bystander in this situation. I'm very, very happy I didn't pick up Cyberpunk. I still plan on getting it someday, but I'm happy just sitting up here in the fucking peanut gallery and just laughing at all the shit going on below me. You know what I mean? If people had given Death Stranding half the chance that they were all so ready to give this game, Death Stranding would be a top 3 game of all time. Widely accepted by the public, Death Stranding would go down as a top 3 game of all time. If people had given Death Stranding 1/2 of the chance that they were ready and willing to give Cyberpunk, Death Stranding would absolutely on the wide scale, on a global scale, currently be known as a top 3 game ever made, like irrefutably. But everybody turned on a streamer and watched them run around doing side quests because they were enjoying the game that involved moving from one point to the other for 20 minutes and said, "Wow, this looks boring," and then they turned it off and never bought it. Or they watched a Donkey review. They watched 4 minutes of a Donkey review and said, "Wow, Donkey's attention span's nothing and he didn't like it. I can't believe this." But that's going to be my most common gamer question in 2021. 2021 and 2022. Maybe for the next 5 years, that's going to be my most common gamer question. If I like a game and somebody else comes through and like, "Yeah, I don't think this game's for me," I'm going to be like, "Did you give it half the chance you gave Cyberpunk?" And if anyone who answers me honestly, the answer's always going to be no. Answer's always going to be no. Donkey killed Death Stranding and Xenoblade. What was that other one he went after? He went after Octopath Traveler. I find it funny that people take his reviews seriously, especially with JRPGs. He hits the nail on the head, but Omega pointed it out when Omega was looking at some of his Last of Us 2 stuff the other day. I think Donkey has sections of his reviews where they are extremely honest and make a lot of sense and are entirely fair to the games. But I think there are also a lot of scenarios where Donkey will sacrifice, I'm going to say like integrity, the integrity of the review maybe, in exchange for what might be a chuckle. You know, in exchange for what might be a punchline. He will sacrifice a section of the review that could have been, had a solid point, and in exchange he'll say something dumb that doesn't make any sense that other people will take seriously, but he also gets a laugh out of it. He'll switch that out. But one thing you got to go into with literally every game, if you ever go into a Donkey review, one thing you have to understand is the guy's attention span is like a squirrel with ADHD. Like, if you have any more than the bare bottom line amount of ability to focus on anything, your attention span is going to be higher than his. So if he ever says he got bored on some game, understand for the most part, you probably wouldn't have got bored on that game, on that part at least. The only reason I never finished Death Stranding is because I had multiple jobs, could only get 2 hours of sleep a day. Other than that, the game looks amazing, great story, and multiple ways to play it. It's on PC now, Big O. I was on my very evil shit. I logged on to the Steam Game Awards. I don't know how any of the votes went or anything like that, but I logged on to Steam one day and they're like, "Dude, the Steam Game Awards." So I voted all the PS4 hand-me-downs. I'm like, Death Stranding deserved this, Horizon deserved that. I just started going down the line and like anything that used to be a PS4 game, like exclusive. They get Death Stranding a PS5 update, I will cry. I have to imagine it's upscaled. Have we tried it? Does it kick to 60 FPS? No, Zenithan, I absolutely agree. I was told there's no... Oh, did they Bloodborne it? Now I'm upset. It runs largely the same. Yeah, now I'm sad. If I ever redid it, I might do it on my PC. I might rebuy it on PC and play it that way. Oh, I have my notepad open right here. I didn't even realize. Who am I adding? Who have I not added to this list? Lil Uber. And Flame Orion. Okay. Am I missing anybody else, or was it just those two? If he says he got bored of it, I probably would get bored. I got bored of Final Fantasy 15 after 30 minutes, and everyone talked about how they played it for hours at a time. Donkey actually liked Final Fantasy 15. Donkey gave it a 3 out of 5, but he heavily left the impression that the game would have been a 4 out of 5 without Chapter 13 and some other things, and those other things all got fixed in an update that came out a month later. Donkey actually liked Final Fantasy 15 a lot. Did I add Wait? Yeah. Today I got Bean Daddy, Wait, TNA, King Training, Mark Leo, Little Uber, and Flame Orion. Until I literally pulled up footage of the guy from Death Stranding using guns and bazookas, my friend didn't think that game had any action and it looked boring. I honestly think streaming killed Death Stranding. And it was streams being done by people who were enjoying and loved Death Stranding. I genuinely believe that was a huge factor to it. Because once you got into the game a little bit, if you thought the game was okay, you don't do side quests. You keep marathoning the story, right? If you were having fun with the game, you did side quests, and side quests are pick these packages up, safely get them to this point, and you got to dodge the AI or the BTs, and you got to make sure the packages get there okay, and you got to kind of try to do it in a timely manner, and you have fun building out your roads, and it's a slow build, it's a slow burn process. But these people will click onto these streams and they will see this slow build, like, oh, I'm getting a road, I'm getting supplies for this, I'm taking these packages up this mountain, right? And they'll be like, this looks boring. This is just walking from point A to point B. But the only reason you're seeing this footage in the first place is because the streamer was having enough fun that they wanted to do it. On top of that, a lot of people, myself included, preferred to go stealthy, but you absolutely did not have to go stealthy. You can go in loud in Death Stranding. King of Sins a couple people in chat preferred to go in loud. They would just go in and shoot BTs. They would load up on their blood shit. They would load up on their grenades. They would shoot BTs. They would go in loud every single time. I preferred stealth because it felt more authentic to the story. It felt more like what Sam Porter Bridges would be doing is he stealths unless he gets caught. That's the vibe I got. But you absolutely can go in loud in every single situation in that game. Almost you can go in loud, and a lot of people are like, I don't really like that. It doesn't seem like it has any action. I don't get how people say the game starts slow, that beginning sequence. Yeah, so that was my other thing, right? I always told people, I said, if you're not sold on it, look up the first 2 or 3 chapters of that game. If you're not sold on it by then don't get it. Alternatively, if you want a 1-chapter summary that really puts the game into light, the Mama chapter blew me back. If you have just a little bit of context on who Mama is in the background, the entire chapter of Mama and everything that goes on there, that chapter alone is like, that's peak fucking storytelling. Everything in that chapter, it's its own little mini story, but it furthers the whole thing so much. I saw that, Yagami. I didn't want to tweet it out just in case there were some Cyberpunk Death Stranding crossover fans who would find it on their own, but that looked pretty sick. Bottom line, in case of where we're currently looking at a game like Cyberpunk, which is overhyped and has a shit ton of problems, and people are powering through it anyway for one reason or another. If you alternatively want a game that got a lot of hype wave, got a lot of boom on the hype wave when it first came out, but then petered out due to everything we just described, but is still a really, really great game and is still insanely slept on, Death Stranding. Still insanely slept on, Death Stranding, for the love of God. If you haven't tried out Death Stranding, that game is phenomenal. That game is top tier. Anyway, I agree with most of the shit this guy said. CD Projekt Red absolutely need to be called out for the misleading marketing and review manipulation. This rant has nothing to do with the gameplay, story, or world of Cyberpunk. My issues lie with CD Projekt Red misleading practices and atrocious performance of Cyberpunk. Okay, this is PS4 struggling to run at 30 frames per second and 720p. Good night. Have fun out there, kids. That looked like the exact same post, the one above. I'm not going to read 2 of the same on all that. One setting on PC tanks performance as the Cascade Shadows. So that was like that for some people. Other people had issues with they had to turn RTX off. Some people had to turn the. I know Yagami was playing around with that one lighting setting. Death Stranding is great until you fall down a hill. I fell off one thing and died one time. I fell down a couple hills though, and yeah, that's sleeping on Cyberpunk. Look at the dog on the bed, man. Fucking hell. Everybody keeps making fun of the way V sleeps. RTX kills FPS in any game. That's not the case in most games. Most games, if you have like a fucking 3080 or a 280 Ti or whatever, you can turn on RPS and you can still run it just fine. In fucking Cyberpunk, at least on launch, people with massive GPUs, their shit was getting tanked into the fucking dirt. In normal cases where you can run RTX and it will not, it might lower your shit to like 60 or whatever, but it will not tank your shit in the fucking ground like it was. That's no, you fucking moron, I just said it. I know RTX lowers your frames per second in most games. It does not lower it to the extent that people were reporting Cyberpunk lowering it to. Yagami has a 260 Ti, and if he turns RTX on, his game crashes. He has a 260 Ti, I think. I have that right? And if he turns RTX on, his game crashes instantly. That does not happen even on most high-end graphic games. Which I'm not going to lie. It's just a 260, either or. DLSS off on 4K, got like 5 frames per second. I would have to argue there are games that look better that will run at a higher frame rate by a large margin with RTX on. Stop saying CD Projekt Red prematurely released the game because fans yelled at them. They released it because their shareholders were impatient and wanted it on shelves for holiday season. It's a classic case of blame everybody except the game company. They leapt over blaming the fan user base and just completely jumped over the game company to land on blaming the shareholders. I'm not saying they're necessarily wrong. I'm just saying you could see how, without actually knowing anything, they just fucking jumped from one end to the other and completely skipped over that huge middleman of people who made the game. How to establish dominance in Night City. I want to see more videos, man. First of all, what the fuck is this? They don't stand up. How long have people just been able to stand up and... How long has AI just been capable of standing up out of their chairs in video games? These guys float. These guys float to their feet. Look at this shit.
What's good, guys?
Mad God, you're in the league? They floated to their feet and then cowered. They never... AAA game, people love it. It's CD Projekt Red. Oh. Wait. Wait, oh. The T-pose, but why did his pants go away? Who took his pants off? Okay, I'm getting back on the thought process, on the train of the ideas that this game, Cyberpunk might not actually be a good game. Cyberpunk might be a game that's so bad it's good. The more shit I see, the more I'm starting to firmly believe this. I don't think it's a game that's like, oh, this is actually a really good game because this and this and this. It's like The Room, if The Room had a huge budget. Game of the year 2020. I think if I were CD Projekt Red, my goal would be to No Man's Sky it. My goal would be to get the most continued support or whatever award No Man's Sky got this year. In 5 years, or 2 years, or 4 years, whatever. Somewhere in there. 2 to 3 years, maybe. If I was CD Projekt Red, that's my goal. You're absolutely not shooting for Game of the Year. Not realistically. No fucking way. But maybe you can get that No Man's Sky award in 3 or 4 years. If you just keep working on the game, eventually you can deliver the game that you promised initially. Eventually, you could deliver the game that you initially promised. No Man's Sky on the show. I only didn't vote for No Man's Sky on that award because I swear No Man's Sky has won that award the last 3 years. If they haven't, they've at least been nominated. But I didn't vote for them on that because I was positive I'd seen them there for the last 4 years. I've had some people on my timeline tell me this is their favorite game of all time, by the way. His fucking ass is hanging up. Yeah, that might be so bad it's good. See what's going on with this guy. Los Santos and Grand Theft Auto 5 is more living open world city than Night City is in Cyberpunk. There's mini games, you can hang out with the story characters, NPCs respond dynamically depending on location and who you're using. You can get haircuts, tattoos, and go shopping. I cannot fucking believe this subreddit spent months shitting on Grand Theft Auto 5 when it's leaps and bounds above Cyberpunk in terms of an open world. With style and fashion being a part of Cyberpunk, not being able to change hair, get more tattoos, or even change my makeup is weird. You'd think they'd have it developed to a point where you could be granted certain tattoos by getting in with a certain faction. Have a tattoo for those loyal to their life path, and one for those who grow into another life path. Like a nomad who keeps nomading gets nomad for life tattoo. While a street kid or a corpo would get something like freedom or whatever. Makes me think, what was the point of even showing those trailers off? With the different fashion styles of Night City. The fashion lore is fleshed out enough. I was hella looking forward to customizing according to and blending some of those styles. I don't know. Maybe they'll add more additional clothing options in the future. You can like this game and still be frustrated. Yeah, having a thought. Your fault for trying to ruin a it's your fault for trying to run a next-gen game on a 7-year-old hardware. I run it fine on my i9 990K and RTX 30. These are the people I was talking about before, man. These are the exact people I was talking about. This is the fucking nerds who are getting mad because PS4 users are refunding their game. By the way, if you have Cyberpunk on PlayStation 4, and you are not happy, like your game is unplayable or you stopped playing because it's so bad or anything like that, you can call for a refund from Sony. Look it up, Google it, or find one of the game articles. I think I've retweeted it a couple times in the past few days from different outlets. You go to my timeline. But there are articles that will link you to how to get a refund on PS4 because it's running so poorly over there. You can actually get your money back. Me, I'm going to wait 3 months for Cyberpunk to be in some kind of bargain bin somewhere for $20. And I'm going to buy that then. And then I'll get the free PS5 upgrade when the PS5 version comes out. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get Cyberpunk PS5 version for $20 because apparently as long as you have the PS4 version, you get the free upgrade to PS5. What are frames? I can explain. PS5, Xbox Series X. 4K 60, I'm only getting 1080p. PS4, Xbox One. 60 frames, I'm only getting 30. Oh, PS4 Pro, Xbox One S. PS4, Xbox One. You guys are getting frames. I fucking love this meme when it's used right. These four. This movie's funny if you've never seen it. What the fuck's it called? What's the name of it? It's not RV, that's a different movie. That's a different, shittier movie. What is this movie called? It's funny. Meet the Millers, that's the name. No, Meet the Millers or We're the Millers? We're the Millers. Yeah, We're the Millers. How you doing, Goten? Oh, man. Please don't think the day one patch will be a miracle. That guy was absolutely right. God damn, they're really laid out on thick. Police in this video game are the most poorly designed police I've ever played in a video game in my life, and I'm not exaggerating. You thought Grand Theft Auto Police or some other game were bad where they would just show up whenever you murder someone and know your exact position? Oh no. I'd say even Skyrim guards have almost better AI. Where do I even begin with the Cyberpunk police? First off, what triggers them? You would guess they'd come after you kill enough people, and then it takes them maybe 30 seconds to roll up in cars to kill you, right? No. If you kill one person, they immediately spawn in front of you out of thin air and begin multiplying. The more you kill, the harder it is, and the game always surrounds you in cops, so it's almost impossible to survive if too many spawn. I have no words for how poorly this was designed. Oh, and by the way, if you're aiming at civilians, cops also have a chance to spawn on you from that as well. Even if you're shooting at gang members and a civilian happens to be in your crosshairs, the cops don't give a shit. They will go, whoa, buddy, are you gunning down a gang? Good. Aiming at a civilian? Wait, that's illegal. Wait, do cops show up if you point a gun at a civilian? Like without shooting one? Secondly, the 1 to 5 star cop thing is a complete joke. It only matters in terms of cop numbers and not wanted level. All you have to do is drive down the street and you lose them anyways, so what's even the point? Even running from them immediately loses them. They don't even bother to chase you unless you're within 20 meters of them, and they don't even chase you in cars. In fact, I've never seen a single police officer driving a car. We realize this now is because there is no programmed drivable AI. The AI aren't programmed to drive cars at all. They have set patterns that they drive along, and that's literally it, unless you're in a mission. Unless it's a specific mission AI. But the AI in CD Projekt Red Cyberpunk 2077 game, they actually can't drive cars outside of the set path that they're meant to drive on. Yada yada. They don't even chase you in their cars. In fact, I've never seen... the most I've seen is them parked on the side of the road. I don't even think enemies in the open world drive cars besides the missions, and that's really sad. Yeah, he hit it there. I don't care if the driving enemy AI is so bad that they drive off the road and crash into walls. At least have a driving enemy AI in the game. Like, come on. How can a game from like 2008 have driving enemy AI, but an open world game in 2020 doesn't? This is unacceptable. By the way, Grand Theft Autos had driving enemy AI. Grand Theft Auto 3? When did Grand Theft Auto 3 come out? The cops were on your ass in that one. I know Vice City had it. Cyberpunk 2077 doesn't have it in 2020. Thirdly, if you lose the cops, they immediately despawn. In other games, you would lose them, and then they would still be patrolling the surrounding area, maybe looking for where you were where you went, or lingering. Nope, not in this game. They completely vanish, making it very easy to steal cop cars. Step 1, shoot cop. Step 2, run. Step 3, run back. Step 4, profit. Overall, it's a horrible system, and it's no joke the worst cop design ever. Watch Dogs 1, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and literally any other game with police had better cops than this. I shouldn't even have to list how to fix police cars because it's blatantly obvious what needs to be done, but if the devs ever look at this, here's a quick list. Police chase you and if you try to escape and send cars after you. Police don't spawn out of nowhere. Police patrol in cars. Police actually chase you in cars or aircrafts. Police only find out... Yeah, I don't really care about his take on that shit. I shoot someone in the back of the head with no witnesses and six cops spawned out of nowhere. You pretty much explained the entire police system, and I'm really not joking. That's funny. I didn't know GTA 3 had a story mode, had other islands. I've never actually played GTA 3. I think I own it. I own it on PS4. And it's not like the remastered version. It would have the bars on the side, but I don't think I've ever played it. Made a Google Doc summarizing the most popular in-game settings to optimize your experience. Good for that guy. That'll help the community a bit. Oh my god. That picture always takes me back. One of the strangest bugs I've ever encountered. Okay. Well, honestly, the most harmless bug we've seen so far. Gamers launching Cyberpunk 2077. That's fucking dirty right there. That's fucking... Anyway.
We've greatly enhanced our crowd and community system to create the most believable city in any open world game to date. The city's streets are bustling with crowds of people from all facets of life, all living their lives within a full day and night cycle.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that was a blatant fucking lie. That was the craziest level of lying and advertisement I've ever seen in my life. That guy got hospitalized with a liver condition. Those poor people were happy that preload started. Get off your high horse. It's perfectly valid to complain about getting a broken product. Yeah, we figured that one out. It's literally a crime in Night City to put pineapples on your pizza. I take it back. I take it back. This game is worth every penny. Don't even patch it. It's fine as is. I've never seen a game go to these links. It's been saved. All right. They have my game of the year vote next year. All right. I know I'm still am very pumped for Kenna and some other titles to come out, but frankly, I think they've earned it doing something brave that no other game company would. Wow. I thought Tyler won before I read the title. They actually did put Tyler 1 in the game at the appropriate height. That could happen in any video game.
Go! Yo.
What the fuck? Hey, Courtney said it wasn't buggy.
That Courtney bitch lied. I don't know Courtney, but she's a liar. Okay, maybe it does happen in this video game. Could have been so much worse. Thank... Oh, this is gonna... I'm already getting... It's like my spine is being crunched. Like from the top. Like someone like... God's taking my spine and going like this with it. Like from the top. Like a... This is gonna be a tough one, boys. Thank God. The biggest complaint people have about it is the bugs. And the AI and the cops and everything else. It could have been a 6 out of 10 game. It kind of looks like a 6 out of 10 game where the gameplay leaves nothing to be desired. Maybe he means like a review score 6 out of 10. Maybe he means a 6 out of 10 in the sense that most people think of when their game gets a low score. Just for the record, I firmly believe every review outlet, which IGN never will, but I firmly believe every review outlet should be a lot more liberal with their use of the 1 to 10 scale. If it's below a 5, you don't recommend it. If it's above a 5, it was better than average. You know what I mean? Like a 6 out of 10 should still be a very playable game. And honest to God, every review I've seen so far, with the bugs included, every review I've seen so far alludes to this being a 6 out of 10 game. The argument, I'm afraid to open this. Ah! Okay. All right, we're going to look at that in a minute. I didn't know if it would show anything like inappropriate or something. I was afraid. Thank God we're going to get another Witcher 3 scenario where the game starts amazing but buggy. Then becomes hopefully one of the best games in a year thanks to the bug fixes and DLCs. If you're upset about hearing that this game has bugs, just remember, it could have been so much worse. We really did get the best of a bad situation. I fucking hate him, man. I told you guys how CD Projekt Red fans were. Some people are confused with the intent of this post, so allow me to clear it up. I'm not saying the bugs should be ignored or excused because they can be patched. If bugs are prominent, they ruin the experience of playing the game, yada, yada, yada. Simply stating that since it's mostly the bugs that are the issue, they can be fixed. And the final Cyberpunk 2077 product in a year's time will be similar to The Witcher 3's now, a very good game. This guy's fucking nuts. This guy's a lunatic. I'm gonna go on another limb. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna keep going. Hey, let's not make fun of Charlie, all right? Getting Charlie's not a bad take. That is rough though. Over here, turning bugs into memes. It's crazy how common everything is. How literally everyone has at least one, or in most cases, multiple instances of this. Like, this is so fucking common, literally anybody can grab a screenshot from their own game and end up with some shit like this. Never in my life have I seen people try so hard to trick themselves and everyone else into believing that they like an obviously very flawed, very rushed, very poorly made, shitty video game. Motherfuckers are delusional beyond all belief. Lotus, somebody had to say it. Lotus, somebody had to say it. We were talking about it earlier. I don't know if you were here or not, but if I brought up the fact that, like, it's not necessarily bad that people are so hard to trying this. People are so forgiving and so willing to try their damnedest to make this game, to convince people this game's a good game and that they're having fun. But imagine if everybody tried to have fun with every other game that came out in the same way and put in as much effort as they did as to trying to have fun in Cyberpunk 2077. I mentioned it earlier, but I firmly believe Death Stranding would go down as a top 3 video game ever. Would be widely accepted as a top 3 video game of all time if people had given it half the chance and half the effort that they had for Cyberpunk 2077. I think there's a lot of games, right? Bigots aside, I think The Last of Us 2 would have got much better reception. Not everybody, obviously. There's still people who have very valid opinions on why they don't like The Last of Us 2. But I think there were a shit ton of people who read the spoilers earlier and wrote off The Last of Us 2 and still, never played it or even really looked into gameplay for it. If No Man's Sky got this at launch, it probably wouldn't be what it is now. Hello Games are a different breed. He really wanted to deliver, and he really knew he didn't. I think they very much cared. But, like, we were talking about, if CD Projekt Red had released Mass Effect Andromeda, which Mass Effect Andromeda got torn to shreds and shit on for having less bugs, significantly, and looking better than Cyberpunk 2077 does. But because the fan base wasn't crazy invested in Andromeda, people were totally fine with just, hopping on the meme train and just making fun of Mass Effect Andromeda. You know, fuck, this game's got crazy bugs. Let's go nuts on it like we do for most games. But because it's CD Projekt Red, because it's Cyberpunk, they're riding it out anyway. They're like, no, it's fine. I'm still having a good time, I promise. CD Projekt Red gets a lot of passes, and I'm not sure why. It's the Witcher fanbase. It's the whole Witcher fanbase. Witcher 3, SSJ Viper, thank you for the raid. Appreciate you. Witcher 3 came out. And particularly, console people too, but it's really, really prominent in the PC community. Convinced themselves it's the greatest game ever made and would never be touched again until CD Projekt Red made another game. And then they did. And, you know, they had talked up, in their eyes now, CD Projekt Red is the holy grail of what, because they released one great game ever. CD Projekt Red is the holy grail of gaming companies, and they should never, you know, be able to do any wrong, and they should be given every benefit of every possible doubt, because it's CD Projekt Red, and they're so flawless, they're barely even people, right? So now that this came out, if they have to look into it and acknowledge that the bugs are awful, and that the AI is bad, and that the cop system is flawed, and that the game is not everything it's cracked up to be, even acknowledge the fact that other games do story and traveling and everything else just as good, if not better, than Cyberpunk does. If they acknowledge all those things, they would have to acknowledge that they were wrong to think that highly of CD Projekt Red. And that would trigger off the part in the brain that hurts. I don't want that. They don't want that. I'm not here to talk shit on Witcher. Witcher seems like I've never played it. Witcher seems like a fantastic game. It won Moon over very handily. Moon wants to do a second playthrough of it. He loved it so much. Hey, Zavy. Zavy, Pokemon League's up. Gen 7, OU. We're allowing as many legendaries as you want now. So it's just no Ultra Beasts, no Z moves. Whenever you have a team ready, you can challenge in chat. We'll get the replays going. I actually have a bunch of replays up and ready to go. I should have been doing Pokemon League a while ago. I don't know why it's such a big deal for Cyberpunk to come out in a year anyways. They could have taken their time and given us objectively a better experience. General consensus says that it's most likely because they kept delaying and their shareholders, because they didn't just fund this themselves, even though they probably could have. They didn't just fund this game all themselves. They took a lot of money from shareholders, and the shareholders were getting very impatient that they kept backing the game up and the game kept getting negative press.
Get me in.
Hell yeah, Rumple. I'm going to use my old team. I like it. That's fine, Xavier. I don't know if I told you before or not, but you hadn't been defeated when we had to end Season 1 because my computer fried. I lost all my shit. I didn't know who had whose badges and everything like that. So you just got a free entry into the next one. You're all locked up and ready to go. But yeah, the theory going around, the one that makes the most sense at least, unless CD Projekt Red just got impatient and decided to release their game early, is that the shareholders were giving them a bunch of pressure, even though their game wasn't done. I don't think it will happen, but now that Sony is issuing refunds, people were boasting about how Cyberpunk had already made back all of its development money off pre-orders alone. Wouldn't it be something if enough people refunded the game that they went back under that mark? That they fell back under the profit sphere. That won't happen. Too many people are going to buy it in the first week. It's got too much hype around it, but I would giggle a little bit. Me after killing someone and hiding from cops in an elevator, cop randomly spawning inside of the elevator. This is a fucking hilarious meme template too. How I challenge? Just type, are there any gym leaders available in chat? And if there are any gym leaders up, they'll hit you. Andrew Como's up. He's the bug type guy. I knew I wasn't tripping calling out all the red flags I saw for this game. Lotus, I don't know if we had talked about it before or not, but we were absolutely on the same wavelength. We talked about it like a week or a couple days before the game came out, maybe. But we were 100% like mind linked on this game from the start. I knew I wasn't tripping calling out all the red flags I saw for this game. Everyone was just so gung-ho about it, though. Now it turns out that the signs were right, and they're doing everything in their power to convince themselves it's still all good. I'm sick. How the fuck are so many people letting all the shit wrong with this game slide? That's the thing. I've never seen it. I've never seen it for any other game before in my life. And I knew this shit would be like unprecedented, but I've never seen it for any any other game more in my life. And I'm not even upset that it's happening. I just wished it was fair across the board. I wish every game got this treatment. I wish every developer got the benefit of the doubt. I wish every game got this treatment. You know? Because it's here, and then to a lesser extent, it's Nintendo people. But Nintendo people have nothing to go off of, because no game from Nintendo was ever released with this much of a shit show. At least not in the last decade. Oh yeah, no, I've been saying every update Cyberpunk's given us in like the last 2 years or so. I've been saying every single update, every single bit of announcement they've got was not pointing to a good sign for release. Leaving the car in the middle of the street, taking time to park safely.
The greater the risk, the bigger the mountain, kids. Or so they say, but you can...
From way back. Doesn't matter.
Okay. Is this what it's like when you guys play the game? Where's that guy's head at? Man ain't got no dome. He touched one car. Hold up. Alright, that was funny. Found a speedrun strat. Any 45-degree surface like this gives a boost if you run slightly into it while going forward. Another advocate. Another example for my theory of this game is so bad it's good. And that's got to be why people like it. Yeah, currently firmly standing by my so bad it's good face, but we'll see how that goes as CD Projekt Red patches these out, because if it's so bad it's good, and then they patch out the so bad it's good parts, then it's just bad. We'll see. You can learn to throw knives. You can't pick them up again. Oh, that's lame. Found an Easter egg in Cyberpunk. Oh, a Cyberpunk Easter egg in Cyberpunk. Goddamn. To the artists, designers, and engineers, and others, we commend your work. To the management, board members, and heads of CD Projekt Red, you owe us an explanation. Should not have browsed this subreddit. Legitimate criticism is being drowned out. I really don't see a problem with the average scores many outlets gave Cyberpunk, including GameSpot. The main argument for most reviews are the choices the player makes during side quests, no matter how cool, both narratively and mechanically, aren't meaningfully reflected in V's main character arc. These are especially hard to swallow in a game which centers players' choice, the dynamic open world and RPG mechanics. Reviewers also focus on how potentially deep themes are only interesting at the conceptual stage and aren't further explored in a meaningful way. These flaws, taken together, create feeling of frivolity towards the side quests and obscure the creator's thematic intent, not even to mention the bugs. Seem like pretty legitimate criticisms for an RPG. I already have the game pre-ordered, but I think people are not allowing any criticism toward the game before they even play it. Not exactly his point, but I do believe he's kind of heading in the right direction in the sense that there probably are a lot of very legitimate criticisms about this game and the gameplay itself, and a lot of shit he just said. And the RPG element maybe being weak and certain aspects of the game not being up to par. And we haven't even got to hear about those yet because the bugs are so blindsiding. The bugs are so fucking huge and like unignorable that as of right now, we've only even got to hear about the bugs so far. The music's really good, not gonna lie. I'll never be able to know. I'll have to turn the DMCA option off when I play. Very normal car driving.
Johnny, did you see what happened? Something feels off here.
You don't say.
No.
That was a lot. I'm just gonna have to run it back real quick.
Johnny, did you see what happened? Something feels off here.
You don't say.
No,
Jab Math, if you have it on PS4, you can refund it. Sony's taking refunds. If you have it on Steam, you can refund it within the first 2 hours, I think. Vehicles turn 2D when you get far enough away. The classic PlayStation 2 tactic. Making a comeback on PlayStation 5. Oh my god, they are! Look at that! Hold on. You guys see that well enough? They're actually just fucking... he's not even, like... When I saw this, I thought he would have to, like, sniper scope in. I do have it on Steam. Yeah, you get the refund if you want. We really can't see it. I'll make it big. I thought he would have to sniper scope in to see it, but they're actually just fucking 2D models. Let me see. Look at this. They're just flat JPEGs. You guys see that? Look, they're just fucking JPEGs that are just like sliding along. You see him as they turn? Oh my god. He's not even that far out. That's the worst part. I thought the way this was going to make sense to me was if he got like really far away and he had like a sniper scope. He had like a sniper scope that crazy zoomed in or something, but he doesn't. He just aims down sights. And you see it on the outside. Look at it. Watch him turn. Watch him turn. You see the turn JPEG. See the different JPEGs loading in so you can turn. It's fucking nutty. I keep accidentally having sex with men. When you have to pick... I'm not going to click that. I think it's spoiler stuff. I thought blank was the chick, so this guy puts the moves on me. Then later, the guy outside the club asked me if I want to dance with him, and I'm like, oh, let's go, bet. I get to choose which dancer I get. No, the man takes you in a room and bangs you with an unskippable cutscene. I'm a Delta out to R2-T2 for what the fuck? Ordered a pink taco, but got a burrito double XL instead. Oh, man. That's an experience. That sounds like his fault. I'm not blaming the game for that one. Oh, okay. The character model. You guys may not like it, but this is what the peak female body looks like. Peak performance. Yep. If you don't phase out... What happens when the game accidentally leaves it in third person instead of first person, I guess. It explains the funny shadow we got earlier. That one choice is fucked, so they switched the options up on you. It's 100% not his fault. If you forget the names, you're screwed. Oh, that's even funnier.
Game of the year.
The guy said game of the year at the end. I didn't know there'd be somebody talking. Now that the game is out, the marketing almost feels like it's satire. The game is coming when it's ready. They did push that in one of their trailers. Coming when it's ready. Game's not ready. It doesn't matter if you're dead as long as you're doing it in style. Seriously, how tone deaf are the people in the marketing department? There's absolutely no emphasis on fashion and style at all in this game. The lack of transmog system results in your character looking like a freak clown most of the time. There's almost no customization to be found in this game for being an open world game. You can't even change your freaking hairstyle. Each NPC has their own handcrafted routine. I'm even hesitant to call the NPC behavior AI, since stupidly walking from point A to point B with the fluidity of a Lego step motion figure, only to vanish and respawn a few meters away, has nothing to do with intelligence or a handcrafted routine. There is no reaction to anything you do. Everything feels static and unrealistic. Now, look at games like Skyrim or Oblivion, for example, where there are shopkeeper owners that do have their routines. They go to their house at night, they wake up in the morning, they go to their shop, they open their shop, they take care of their stuff, they might take a lunch break, they might, stop and see in one of their relatives for a little bit. If you kill one of the shop owners and they have a son, they have a child or a relative nearby, somebody else will take over the shop. That is a handcrafted routine, and it's existed in games for many years at this point. The game runs surprisingly well on last-gen consoles. That's a fucking quote of the year. I don't know what you need to smoke in order to perceive the state of the game on PS4 and Xbox One is surprisingly well running. At this point, I'm wondering if CG Projekt Red has been developing an entirely different game for the last few years. We've crafted every vehicle with immense detail. I don't give a crap about the number of polygons on my car interior when the driving in this game is absolutely horrendous. The controls are floaty and unresponsive, and the minimap doesn't even zoom out when driving. There isn't a single freaking parking lot. Oh, and don't get me started on the car AI, or better said, lack thereof. I have heard a lot from people who actually play the game. I've heard a lot of shit talk on the driving. Apparently the driving is fucking horrendous. Like, somehow worse than Watch Dogs 1 driving. Yeah, I got them all injured. We're going to start Pokemon here in a minute. I've heard the driving is literal fucking cheeks. And it's just something people overlook along with everything else wrong with this game. Brain Dance is a pretty big part of the Cyberpunk universe. Heralded as the big new shiny thing, Brain Dance is absolutely nowhere to be seen outside of scripted missions in the game. I honestly couldn't believe it when people claimed you can even buy Brain Dances. But there's no way to experience them as side content. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but again, this is hugely overselling thing on CD Projekt Red's part. I could go on, and believe me, there's enough descriptive and overhyped marketing material out there, waiting to be torn apart and by disappointed fans who made the age-old mistake of getting excited based on cherry-picked material and profusely misleading marketing lingo. I tried not to get as hyped, so as not to develop unrealistic expectations, but what CD Projekt Red delivered is not even worthy of reasonable expectations. Sure, the game looks fantastic if you can get it to run. The story seems promising so far, and the main characters have some of the best animated and textured faces I've seen in some time. But man, so many aspects of this game are extremely undercooked, oversold, and overhyped, and CD Projekt Red are definitely to blame here. Not exclusively, though. I've uninstalled the game already, and if they won't delay it at this point, to the point to where it's finished, I'll have to delay it myself. The Brain Dance one is literally insane to me. I don't get it. It had to have been cut. You can buy them. He compares the driving to Friday the 13th driving. That's fucking disgusting. Especially because in Friday the 13th driving, you drive for like less than a minute and you take 2 turns and it's still really hard. I can't imagine a game that's as centered around driving as I've seen Cyberpunk is, having driving like that. That sounds fucking awful. If Ubisoft released a game in this state, the blowback would be insane. Stop the double standard. Finally, we're talking to people now. We had to scroll a little bit and get past a lot of funny videos, but we're finally talking to human beings. I hope I don't get downvoted into oblivion. I'm a massive fan of The Witcher 3, and I really want this game to succeed, but I want to comment on the double standards some people have. I mean, seriously, if literally any other studio released a game in this state or manipulated their customers in this manner, there would be riots. CD Projekt Red should be held accountable. They have blatantly lied to consumers, claiming that the game ran surprisingly well on old-gen consoles. This combined with intentionally not letting people review last-gen console versions of the game despite knowing its abysmal state just comes off as bad, no matter how you spin it. They delayed the game for almost a year, stating in their own words that postponing the launch will give us the precious months we need to make the game perfect. Ooh, that's a fucking line. Did they just decide to not commit to this promise that they had told us multiple times throughout this last year? Is it unreasonable to ask that they don't give any deadlines they can't commit to and don't make promises they clearly don't plan on upholding? If Bethesda pulled this shit, which they have in the past, they would be memed to oblivion, pun intended, and rightfully so. Fallout 76 is a far superior game than it was at launch, but that game's entire legacy is tarnished, as it should be, due to complete failure to live up to its promises and its buggy launch. I see no reason why CD Projekt Red should be treated differently. Fallout 76 is probably a really, really accurate comparison for this game. People like to say, yeah, the game was overhyped, and of course the fanboys will be let down. But I don't think that's a fair statement, mainly because the fanboys are the only one keeping it hyped up now. CD Projekt Red played a pretty big role in hyping up their own game, saying shit like we've greatly enhanced the crowd and community system to create the most believable city in any open world to date, or how it's the pinnacle of next-gen open world games, etc., etc. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, as though I obviously didn't expect this game to revive my dead dog and be absolutely perfect in every manner, I did expect it to live up to the standard that CG Projekt Red kept saying it would. I was doubtful this game would live up to The Witcher 3, but I did not expect it to miss it by such a large margin. even if I didn't set my standards that high, and they weren't that high, I had higher expectations for Red Dead 2, and that game lived up to it, this game would still be a letdown. I can't even imagine what the PS4 and Xbox One players are going through right now. They have been completely manipulated. Excuse me. This intended to be a more well-thought-out post when I started writing it, but it turned into a rant, so apologies for that. I definitely don't think this game is all bad. Good writing, side content, beautiful world if you have a NASA computer, etc. And it is evident that a lot of love was put into it. But that can be said about almost any game. I never thought CD Projekt Red would sink as low as they did. I would highly suggest you read this post by the author articulates stuff. Probably want to read it already. I'm trying to get a refund and the chatbot sucks. Anyone know how to talk to an actual person, either live chat or emails? Anybody got that refund on PS4? Cyberpunk 2077, if you open radio, it slows time down like in Doom. So if something interacts with the car you're in, it does slowly and accelerates when stopped. The tactic in Doom Eternal. Games have done that before. Doesn't Grand Theft Auto do that? There's a couple things where, like, if you kind of open up the menu, you get the time slow a little bit. Thought about loading up on my base Xbox One. I might be misinterpreting this, but I think base Xbox One might actually run it a little bit better than PS4 does. It's either that or so many more people are playing it on PS4 than Xbox One that you just don't see Xbox One examples at all. But I haven't heard a lot of complaints out of Xbox One specifically. It's almost exclusively been PS4s if they're talking about last gen. Stabby the Gunner, thank you for the 6 months Prime. Appreciate you. Ultimate Stage, we're not talking Attack on Titan spoilers, man. Actually, you just pasted that stuff. Dude, what the fuck are you doing, man? You can't. Spamming is against the rules in chat. I don't know why you spam that shit over and over again. Knock that shit off. Anyone else thought of this when they saw the pass? Anyway, I'm not even gonna open that can. Disappointing that absolutely none of the arcade machines are interactable. That's a complaint, I guess. Deciding which. Oh yeah, here we go. It's like if you're playing the game and you want a good car, this is how you get it. You just keep looking away and looking back over and over again because it'll just change every time because it deloads if you're not looking at it. Grand Theft Auto Vice City doesn't do this, by the way. Grand Theft Auto Vice City doesn't do this, by the way. I thought this was Pokemon. It's about to be. That isn't. Simpsons Hit and Run does this. Simpsons Hit and Run for the Nintendo GameCube does this. CD Projekt Red fans will see this as a perk. This is a perk you don't get in other games, right? In other games, if you see a car, that's the car that it is. And if you want a different car, you have to go looking through the world to find it. Almost realistic in a sense if you were to narrow it down. But not Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk has a kick-ass feature where if you look away, it deloads. And then you look back, it'll reload. And you can just spam that until you get the car you want. The Dolphin tweet. Dolphin definitely tweeted out that he liked Cyberpunk earlier today. Oh my god, I never got to Yagami. Yagami linked me a tweet 10 years ago. We never looked at it. Let me pull this up. I completely forgot. Yagami, if you're still here, I'm so sorry. He linked this tweet forever ago, and I was like, yeah, I'll get to it. Then we kind of got distracted. I kind of got distracted. Okay, so this is the tweet Yagami linked earlier. Enemies look hard to kill. Really hard to kill. Jesus Christ. This is like the Dark Souls of broken games. Hey. And this is Dolphin's tweet. Fucking everybody's got a story like this, man. Everybody's got something like this. Everybody's having these issues, man. The AI of Cyberpunk 2077. An in-depth look at the worst AI in modern gaming. We've kind of gone over this a lot. We know the AI is garbage. If there's a video showing it off later, we'll watch it. 41% of pre-orders were on consoles, so yeah, we're the loud minority, but we also paid full price for the game. Here's CD Projekt Red. Cyberpunk 2077 turning Cyberpunk 2077 into a total masterpiece is very within your grasp. Fucking good luck, brother. The police system is absolutely horrendous. We've been over that. Shareholders after release. Oh no! Oh no! All right, this video's got to get saved. This video's got to get saved. Oh, it's going to save it as a web page. I'm going to find out how to save that video later, because that's content right here. I need like a download button. Anger, I used to do that too. It's a fun time. Good fucking night, bro. I can hear him yell again. The genital customization was probably done only for marketing purposes. Yeah, it's weird that you can customize your genitals in great detail, but then not the rest of your character for the most part, like after beyond the initial creation. PSA, CD Projekt Red is no longer calling Cyberpunk 2077 an RPG and is now calling it an action-adventure game. TLDR, the game was marketed the last 2 years as an RPG that includes content that is no longer in the game. They have suddenly started calling it an action-adventure game and scrubbed RPG from many of their marketing material. This is incredibly misleading. Ooh, he's got a missing features list. If you go back and look at the marketing starting in 2018, not only did CD Projekt Red heavily market this game as an RPG, but there's also a number of features removed / missing. I would like to go back and find the interviews, but CD Projekt Red themselves hyped this game up as being better and more deep RPG and narrative experience than bigger than The Witcher. Okay. Some missing features include cut spider bot gameplay, cut techie skill tree, wall running, cut apartment and car customization, cut subway, it's now just fast travel with a loading screen, cut wardrobe, now all that happens in inventory, no haircuts or customizable body augmentations, just to name a few. If you look at the marketing materials from the past couple months, you might have noticed the word RPG was almost flat out removed from the messaging, despite them referring to the game as such up until a couple months ago. On Cyberpunk 2077's old launch trailer, YouTube, Twitter bio, such you can see they're now calling Cyberpunk 2077 an open-world action-adventure game. This wouldn't be such an issue had CDPR made that very clear years ago, but instead they quietly scrubbed the word from their messaging, dumbed down the RPG mechanics, and made dialogue options more limited than before. Instead, we have this weird mishmash of poorly fleshed out GTA and Borderlands-esque gameplay mechanics while also attempting to be an RPG, even though they continue to market the RPG mechanics and cut other content that didn't make it into the game. I have no idea what this game is trying to be, but an evolution of what made The Witcher 3 so praised? I don't think so. Many of us came into this expecting an RPG similar quality to The Witcher 3. I don't know much about you. That was my only real expectation. Now it's absolutely nowhere near what we got. So much of the marketing over the past 2 years does not reflect the current state of the game at all. We've been through all that. Okay, so this is the first bit that I've read that has genuinely made me very, very sad, aside from fans being super weird. Later, Zark. Aside from fans being super, super weird about it, this is the first piece that I've read that made me genuinely sad, because the only bit that I knew for sure that they had cut out before, that they announced that they had cut out before, was wall running. I didn't watch most of the trailers or anything leading up to this game. I didn't watch the E3. Like, if it wasn't an E3, I didn't really catch it, right? These other things being cut. Entire skill trees going away. Whatever the fuck this is. Spiderbot going away. The customization of Subway is one thing, but he's talking about a lot of RPG elements probably got scrapped from this game, and that's why they had to scrap it from the game. This makes me believe that unless they go full No Man's Sky, and re-add it and change the game from an action-adventure to an RPG, this leads me to believe that instead of what I thought with this release was that the game came out too early, and it's obviously a buggy mess with its problems, but in 6 months to a year and a half, we might have the game they originally intended for us to play. This makes me believe that we are never going to get the game they originally intended for us to play. This makes me believe we are eventually going to get the best version of this current Cyberpunk that it can possibly be somewhere down the line. I still think they're going to keep updating it. But if this game was supposed to be a lot heavier in the RPG aspect and a lot of that got removed, we're never actually going to get what should have been Cyberpunk 2077. We're never actually going to get that full vision realized. That's the first bit of this that I've read that's actually made me genuinely sad. Am I the only person enjoying the game? No, there's a bunch of people capping out there. Regardless of the game itself, CD Projekt Red handling of reviews for Cyberpunk is unacceptable. We've been through all this. Blaming disappointment on unrealistic expectations. That's bullshit. Don't watch GameStop's review. It contains spoilers.
In Japan, brain sergeant, top of all. Good instinct. One day, Tiger Claw boss needs surgery. But both
This actually just is the office scene.
It's
kinda tight.
Very angry. I hide in boat, swim to America. Here, Dennis saved me. But there is secret. I killed Tiger Claw boss on purpose. World best surgeon, make no mistake.
Story, Hide. In Japan, heart surgeon, number one.
I told you, it's exactly the office scene.
One day, Yakuza boss need new Darren 7 rifle. My big secret. I kill Yakuza boss on purpose. I could surgeon. So best.
That's type. The uncircumcised penis does not flop around unplayable. Oh, here we go. These are the images they made up of how V has to sleep, because this is the bed, and then this is how he's laying on it somehow. So people were trying to come up with how the guy possibly could sleep on the bed. That's him laying over there, and then just camera pointing towards some hands. But clearly he must be doing the reverse dolphin. But everyone initially thought he just slept like this. Game really makes you appreciate the complexity of Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption characters and how good the animations are. You're blaming last-gen players saying they should have expected a completely broken game. You're part of the problem. Police spawning behind you has been a feature since 2013. We've been played all along. Oh, the original 2013 trailer. This is not what Ready looks like. Attention CD Projekt Red. You owe those of us that bought your game on basic PS4 and Xbox One an explanation. Better yet, on Sony you're getting a refund. Cyberpunk has broken the record for most concurrent players in a single-player game. I bet it's also broken the record for most concurrent disappointed players in a single-player game. But that's the stat they won't tell you about. Performance issues are a veil that hides the least immersive open-world game ever. Okay, here we go. I was talking about this earlier. We're about done going through this Reddit thread, by the way. It's just, I keep finding more and more shit. I was talking about this earlier. I said the game probably has a lot of legitimate problems that we don't get to see because the bugs and stuff are weighing it down so heavy. Performance issues are a veil that hides the least immersive open-world game I've ever played. No, this is not unrealistic expectations. My expectations were what I was specifically told to expect. It's probably just some interview bit where they said it before. This is not the most believable city in open-world gaming. It isn't even close. It feels more like you're on the Truman Show. Immersion involves things like reacting to the way you expect them to. Nothing in this game reacts the way you would expect it to. Hello, food vendor. Can I buy from... Who the fuck are you? All right, people who play the game are probably going to understand this better than I will. Nothing is interactable. There are no activities you can do to experience the culture of a dystopian city, cyberpunk culture, or a city in general. You cannot even alter your cosmetics in a setting where cosmetic enhancement and fashions are integral. Not even a tattoo or a haircut. You shop for cars via receiving random text from NPCs. You can't go to the bar and have a drink. NPC AI is atrocious. No AI is capable of anything beyond their scripted events. A guy banging on a vending machine for eating his money. You hack it so it dispenses all the food. He will continue to bang on the vending machine. Cops spawn out of nowhere and then despawn if you crouch in a corner for long enough. Random assaults are just a small group of gangsters standing over one dead guy. Arcade machines are everywhere, but you can't play them. Cars follow one scripted path and just stop working altogether if you park in front of them. And when you turn away, they disappear and are replaced with a different car. Nothing in this world is believable, and exploring the city is an empty shallow. You never feel like the world will continue living without you. You feel as if they despawn when you leave, as they do. These are issues that aren't going to be fixed by patches. These are issues that will hold the game back from being great forever. I don't know about all that. I'm sure some huge patches will get in there, but it's going to take some big fucking patches. Uh-huh. I don't know what's going on in this image, but I'm laughing. They typoed Night City on one of the areas. It says... I'm not going to say it out loud. But it says not Night City. When my non-lethal stealth attempts... it's every game. We need transmog ASAP. Oh, I thought it'd be good. That's a car. Unpopular opinion, it feels like CD Projekt Red spent most of the time and money on art direction, story, and graphics. They forgot to make an actual game. I can't get a haircut? Hello, I'm a small Overwatch graphic designer. I can't wait to play Cyberpunk, you poor bastard. When V sells all of his guns to the fast food guy, alright, that's classic funny meme. Adding more fuel to the fire. Can't tell what this says. Oh yeah, it's just them taking an RPG. Them taking an RPG from the Twitter bio. I know that's hard to see. I had to lean in on it. Willard, I'm sorry to hear that. You couldn't get Justin to talk you through it? Because hooking up on PS4 is harder. 50 should still be in chat, Willard, if you need help getting into the server. Expecting this game to have basic features and polish is not having unrealistic expectations. And you missed the turn because of the minimap. That's just a meme. 69 hours away from release. Oh, they were so excited. Oh no, brother! The simulation is winning. It's a very specific issue we haven't found a workaround for just yet. Okay. You think him going through PS4 will probably fix it then? I'll upload the Minecraft bot on YouTube. Yeah, Minecraft will go up on YouTube. CD Projekt Red knew the game would be launched in an unacceptable state and tried to cover for it. That's believable. I'm not reading all that, but that's definitely believable. Unprecedented choice. Will you do this thing? Yes. Slightly annoyed? Yes. Corpo Nomad Street Kid version of yes. That sounds like some Fallout 4 shit. That sounds like the same shit Fallout 4 got bashed to hell and back for. They cut down on RPG elements and did stuff like this instead. Yeah, you probably just ran into a bug, D-Horn. Safe bet with this game. For me, when a game is really buggy, it takes it away from me. It takes the experience away from me, not just seeing the bugs, but then if something else kind of goes wrong in a mission, I always have to sit there and play that game like, okay, am I missing something am I missing something in the game that I need to do to get to the next section, or did I encounter a bug that's ruining it? Because I don't want to reload a save if I don't have to, but I don't want to run around for 30 minutes if it's just a bug stopping me from doing this. And I hate that. AI is non-existent. Driving's bad. They hated her because she was telling the truth. Oh, this is the girl. This is the girl everybody sent death threats to because she gave it a 7 out of 10 before everyone found out that the game was bad. NPCs in Cyberpunk 2077 versus Red Dead 2. Probably going to be an unfair comparison. But yeah, that guy is definitely standing inside of a barricade. If that was based on America, that's actually accurate to the manga.
You got a problem now? The hell I do to you? Because I'm happy to have a problem with you. You got a problem with me? A real problem. Quit this, all right? You look dumb as a stump, my friend. I mean, the wind must blow right through them ears. Look, I'm just gonna get going, okay? You sure your mom and pa weren't related?
God damn! Arthur letting him have it. Drac, I don't know who said that. That wasn't me. Dear CD Projekt Red, is this really the immersive, innovative, interactive world that you so heavily marketed as? Nope. CD Projekt Red's stock has dropped by 29%. People complaining that Cyberpunk isn't polished enough, me knowing CD Projekt Red is a Polish company, therefore the game is as Polish as it gets. Alright, that's funny. Everyone talks shit about her, but I'm starting to agree with the girl who gave it a 7 out of 10. NPCs are some of the most basic I have ever seen. GameSpot review was not good or well thought out. It actually was. This is 5 days ago. This is before the game came out, and now everybody's talking about how it actually was. I actually am starting to agree with her. This is fucking gamers are nuts, man. Where are you keeping them things? She just butt chugged a soda. My interactions with NPC have been nothing but immersive. That sounds like sarcasm. I found a woman being threatened by 3 to 4 gang members. She repeatedly screamed, "Why are you doing this?" And they sat there and did nothing to her. Well, as any good person would do, I shot these no-good criminals for the kind lady. She continued to crouch and hold her head anyway. Guess she couldn't be bothered to look up and see that she was safe now. I saw this couple with their arms around each other. How cute. However, the boyfriend's face was literally so appalling that I felt an unreal amount of hatred towards him. So as any sane individual of Night City would do, I shot him. Then as I ran around the area in circles, dodging the onslaught of police spawning 2 feet behind me, I saw the woman was still holding the same position with her arm around the air. That's what I call dedication to her now dead boyfriend. Had a woman walk straight through my car. Holograms must be getting super realistic. Saw a guy fall from the sky and straight through the floor. Must have had an express ticket to hell. Shot outside of my apartment while testing sensitivity settings. Walked out to the main area to see 30 NPCs crouching in the same position. Had a child demand food from me, but continued walking away before I could even give the sweet kid a candy bar. Found some homeless man being beaten up by some gang members. After clearing the gang members, I found out I could still hear the ghost of one screaming insults at me. Had 2 cops open fire on me after crashing my bike. At least this game has realism. Thank you, accurate to the manga. Honestly, I can't see why people are hating the AI. It seems to work fine to me. Whew. Critical gave it a 70%. I saw him streaming that game yesterday. Wonder how I beat it already. Unless they put the video out today. GTA 5 was unrealistic with police response times, but apparently NCPD has teleportation technology at its disposal. Not a bug, it's a feature. Beautifully disturbing world. VAP really needs auto zoom when driving at higher speeds. Damn right it does. Can we all take a dev break from the hate and appreciate this wholesome picture of the dev team? Is this a picture of... This is the No Man's Sky people. This is a Photoshop picture of Hello Games. And this is the No Man's Sky people. They went for the fucking... We're finally getting to the good part of this. The good part of these posts. Take your hairstyle carefully. You can't change it. There's no barber in this entire video game. Do not look in the comment sections of Cyberpunk videos. You'll get spoiled. Doesn't matter if we buy the game on last-gen console. We pay $6. This is like the 3rd time we've seen that post. Yes, this is how vaulting a window works. You see each individual piece get knocked out as he hits it. I'd be pissed. Apparently a 7 out of 10 video game. For a game with sex advertisements everywhere, the actual prostitutes and joy toys are dreadful. That guy wanted a sex video game, Your Honor. There's a lot going on here in this picture. There's a lot happening right now. This looks like that section where Trevor lives in Grand Theft Auto 5. This looks almost exactly like the area where Trevor lives in GTA 5. Y'all good? Wait, why do they have a police force? They started getting shot at! Comparing this to The Witcher 3. Oh, this is gonna be fucking awful. Honestly, once you start comparing this game to The Witcher 3, all this stuff starts to make sense. All the game's problems start to make sense. IMO The Witcher 3 was just not criticized enough for its obvious flaws. They all mostly just made their way into Cyberpunk. Broken at launch? Check. Unplayable on consoles at launch? Check. Stupid NPCs and horrible enemy AI? Check. Broken wanted system? Check. Mediocre driving? Check. And this is actually something Cyberpunk did much better than The Witcher 3, where Roach was just barely serviceable, feeling much worse. Broken economy? Check. Remember when contracts gave you an average of 300 crowns and Witcher gear cost thousands of crowns and you had to sell your gear you collected in whatever? Skills only just improve your stats in certain situations? Check. Broken loot system where you have to constantly swap gear instead of holding on to things you like? Broken crafting system? Now let's see what Cyberpunk was actually praised for. Character, stories, choices, side content, atmosphere, and music. All these things are things that made The Witcher 3 so magical for everyone. I don't play Witcher 3. I don't know. Customers shouldn't have to wait for a AAA game to become good after it's already been released. Duh. CD Projekt Red promised the game would look great on consoles. CD Projekt executives took responsibility for Cyberpunk's buggy launch in an email at staff today saying that their Christmas bonuses will not be based on their Metacritic score anymore. Thank God. Cyberpunk just crashed so hard it got rid of the active Windows notification that was on my screen for the last 3 months. Oh, the activate Windows? Wait, what? Hold on, this isn't a bug. This is a feature. Wait a minute. Every game should have this. I was parking my car and the game crashed to the point to where my computer lost the monitor's signal and I had to restart. When I relaunched my computer, the Windows warning is gone. So I guess I own Windows 10 now. That's the best bug I could possibly imagine. I'm not going to front. In case you guys don't understand, if you don't have a legal copy of Windows 10, if you got an illegal version, it just says in the corner the whole time. Like, you could still use Windows 10 just fine, but the entire time in the corner of your monitor, it says, buy a legal version to activate Windows 10 or whatever. Like, it's just a watermark that will never go away. And I guess his Cyberpunk game crashed so hard, the watermark went away. There's not even mods out there that I'm aware of. There's not even, like, anything downloaded, like a script you can download or anything that will get that out of your computer. So how Cyberpunk managed to get that off his computer, I may never know. Me role-playing... Oh, okay, apparently this is an issue. Me role-playing a 100% straight man in Cyberpunk 2077. Angel. Okay. I might get DMCA'd for that, but that was something. Can we please get the ability to listen to the radio through an implant or something? Girlfriend worked for months to create this. She got a cross stitch. That's like the 5th Am I the Only Person Enjoying the Game post we've seen. I put all my skill points in cool. Okay, that was pretty cool. I hear driving on the bike doesn't suck total ass. Like, it's not great, but it's definitely way better than the car. Can we chill with Am I the Only One joining gameplay? Yeah, there we go, finally. As a woman, I've never been this happy with a character creator. Oh, you gotta play more games, girl. One of the examples of the city not feeling alive. Oh, here we go, here we go. We're done. We're going to Pokemon right after this video. This is actually what I was looking for. I saw this the other day.
Traffic AI in Cyberpunk 2077. And get a sense of, you know, how competent...
We've been talking about how bad the AI is so far. Really scary with critical pop-ups coming up. We've been talking about how bad the AI is so far for traffic, but you guys have not seen the AI traffic bad yet. So I want to show you this, and then we're moving over to Pokemon.
Is the AI and how alive is the city? So I parked a vehicle on the road here, and you can see all these cars are getting stuck because my vehicle's in the way. There's no honking. Nobody really cares. The cars are all just stopped. The people that are sitting around in the city don't really care, right? Like, nobody cares that I've done this. And all the cars are stopped in this giant row. Now, keep an eye on the types of cars. So just keep an eye on what cars are all stopped in this row here. So I run down this lane, and all of a sudden, you'll see in a second here, the cars start moving. So I'm excited, right? I'm thinking, oh, they went around my car. Incredible. But look at the cars. The game unspawned the cars that were closest to my
That
car.
was a van before.
And swapped them with different cars instead. There's a sports car here now. So I tried the same thing in Watch Dogs Legion. So I parked a car, and it looks like there's a line of cars forming. They're honking, they're unhappy that I'm parked this way. People are commenting about how cool my car is, which is kind of nice. It's a nice sports car that I have there. And just look at how alive the city is. Look at how just energetic everything is. And they're going around my car. Incredible. So I thought, okay, what if I put this car in the middle of the road? I'm just going to take up a whole lane in the middle, and let's see what happens. So, like you expect, they start piling up. So they start lining up here, and there's a bus. So we expect this is probably going to be that big line of cars, like we saw in Cyberpunk. I'm blocking the entire lane. There's no way to go around me at this point. Can they do lane changes?
What up, Omega Michelson?
They understand lanes. And they do. Incredible. They change lanes, they go around my car, and they get back into the lane they wanted to be in to begin with.
Yeah, we're just about to start.
Just like real drivers would, right? People going somewhere. And look at that. They all go around my car, and they get back in the lane they wanted to be in. And the bus stays in the right lane because it's going to stop up ahead. This is what a living city should feel like, right? Pedestrians are commenting on my car. Pedestrians are commenting about the horns. They don't like to hear the honking. They're unhappy. They're commenting to each other. They're talking on the phone. This is a living, breathing city. Look at this white car, right? It approaches at speed, and it changes lanes. Incredible.
I think he goes back to Cyberpunk again. No, he doesn't. Fuck. I'm playing a real dangerous game with these YouTube thumbnails because you might just get a fucking critical huge dick in the thumbnail.